He ruined my reputation, so I ruined him. By 9 a.m., half of the office thought I was Adam Grant's bitch. I was halfway through a spreadsheet when Amanda from HR walked past my desk, looked me dead in the eye, and smirked like she knew what my bedroom smelled like. At first I thought I imagined it. The smirk, the glance, the tiny conspiratorial raise of her eyebrows. But then came the second one, third one, and the third, whispers trailing behind me when I walked to the conference room. Slack messages closing the second I entered. One intern turned pink, just stand near the espresso machine. It took me till 9:07 to ask the obvious. What the hell is going on? And it took exactly 3 seconds for Darius, sweet, no-filter Darius, to lean in and say, Dude, they're saying you banged Adam Grant. Silence. A little record scratch moment in my brain. What? He nodded solemnly, like hard. Against a window? I think begged for it? That's what I've heard. I laughed. A single, humorless bark. Then I stood up as fast as my chair rolled back and slammed into the wall. Let me be clear. I do not lose my cool. Not during board reviews. Not during budget slashes. Not when a senior partner tries to steal my pitch desk and claim it was his. But this made my blood pressure spike so fast, I saw white. Because it wasn't just a stupid rumor. It was plausible. Adam and I had been dancing around each other since the week he joined the firm. He was cocky, charming, one of those guys who somehow looked hot and humble in rolled-up sleeves. We argued in front of clients. We undercut each other in memos. He once stole my preferred parking spot and left a chocolate bar on my windshield like a peace offering. I threw it in the trash. So yeah, we hated each other. But apparently, we hated each other so much, people believed we were screwing. Did he say it? I asked. My voice sounded steady. Too steady. Like I swallowed a knife and was trying not to bleed. Darius shrugged. I mean, no one's confirmed anything. But it started in his division. Of course it did. Adam Grant, the walking smirk. Golden boy face, trust fund jawline, and a voice like melted bourbon. He did this, and half the damn office thought I had fallen to my knees for him. I looked across to the sea of desks, phones ringing, laptops open, faces glancing up and then quickly away. I wasn't just watched, I was being studied, like a scandal, like a fall from grace. He wanted to ruin me? Fine. Let's see how he handles what happens when I let him have exactly what he said he already did. By the time I reached Adam Grant's glass-walled corner office, I was not thinking clearly. I'm thinking about the way Amanda from HR looked at me, like she'd seen the footage, like it was real, like I let him ruin me. I'm thinking about how everyone assumed I'd cave, that I'd crumble, that I'd cracked. And I'm thinking about him. Adam. Arrogant, gleaning, built like a man who thinks rules don't apply to him, and worse, he's beautiful. The kind of beautiful that makes you furious. Like God wasted symmetry on a man with a smirk that could curdle blood. I hated how much I noticed him. Every meeting, every snide remark, every time he rolled up his sleeves, like he knew exactly what he did to me. It made me sick. Made me want. He's leaning back in his leather chair when I open the door without knocking. Lucas, he says, smooth as glass. Didn't know you. I step inside, close the door, and lock it. The clicks echo. His smirk falters. Just a flicker, but I see it. Good. You think this is funny? I say. My voice doesn't rise. It doesn't need to. The calm is sharper. Adam shifts in his chair, but doesn't stand. I don't know what you've heard. Oh, I've heard plenty. I walked towards him, each step deliberate. I heard I got on my knees for you. That I begged. That I made a mess of myself in this very office. Adam's jaw tightens. Lucas? You started this. I stopped right in front of him. You wanted everyone to believe I screwed you. He doesn't answer. I lean down, close enough to see the green in his eyes go darker. And just for a second, just one, my breath catches. God, he's unreal. Too polished, too smug, too perfect. I hated every time I imagined him under me. I hated how much I wanted it. Then, let's make it true. I pushed him back into the chair. He doesn't resist. His breath stutters, barely, and I feel it. The shift in the air, the tension snapping like a fault line. Lucas, he says again, quieter. That's not... I cut him off with my mouth. It's not a kiss, it's a war. Teeth, heat, the scrape of control unraveling. He tastes like coffee and sin, like something I hate and I can't stop drinking. His hands grip my hips, like he's been waiting. Like this is a fantasy he's written 1,000 times. And now, doesn't trust it's real. Maybe it is. But hell, I want it to be. I kiss him hard. He tries to speak again, voice hoarse between naps. I didn't. Lucas, the rumor, it wasn't... Shut up. My mouth brushes his jaw. You wanted this. You got it. My hand knots in his hair, yanking his head back just enough to keep him gasp. It's supposed to be punishment. So why do I feel like I'm the one breaking? His hands slide under my shirt, hot, shaking, dragging across my spine like he needs to memorize me, like this is something he's dreamed and never dared to touch. And I should stop, but I can't. There's nothing gentle about this, no rhythm, no finesse. Just hands, teeth, breath, friction, rage in the shape of desire. I straddle him roughly, knees digging into the chair, bodies colliding like a wreck we never tried to avoid. He moans against my mouth, sharp, broken, needy. His belt's undone, my tie hangs loose around his neck, the top 2 buttons around his shirt are missing. I think I tore them off. Good. We look like a scandal. We are a scandal. His mouth drops open, and the sound of tears. And his mouth drops open. And the sound that tears out from him is filthy. Half groan, half surrender. His hips jerk up, desperate now. That the game's long gone, and the only need is left. Lucas. He pants, voice wrecked. Shit. He says my name like it's killing him to say out loud. Like it costs him everything. I lean in, teeth at his throat. This is what you wanted, Grant. I whispered. To be screwed like a rumor. His whole body goes tense, shaking, clutching, unraveling. He comes with a sharp gasp and my name on his tongue, like a prayer he never believed in. And me? I don't even kiss him goodbye. I stand, fix my cuffs, tighten my tie, smooth back my hair like I just didn't ruin both of us. Then I walk out the door. Now, let them whisper. Now, it's true. The morning after, I showed up to the office 10 minutes early. Pressed shirt, clean shave, calm face. If anyone expected me to crack, they didn't know me. I walked in like I hadn't wrecked Adam Grant in his leather chair. Like I hadn't left bite marks on his throat and his belt hanging open. Like I didn't feel the phantom shape of his hands on my skin. The whispers were louder now. Of course they were. People didn't just suspect anymore. They knew. Or thought they did. Amanda looked away the second I passed her desk. Darius raised his eyebrows, mouth twitching like he wanted to ask if it was good. Someone from legal literally applauded under their breath. I didn't look at any of them. I just went to my office, sat down, opened my laptop, and started typing. Like it was any other Tuesday. 10 minutes later, I felt him. Before he even spoke, the air shifted, went tight. I looked up, and there he was, Adam Grant, standing in my doorway. Hair perfect, suit perfect, but his eyes, a mess. He stared at me like he'd been waiting all night, like something was stuck in his throat and he didn't know how to cough it up. "Close the door," I said without looking up from my screen. He did. Soft clicks, then silence. I kept typing for a beat too long, then stopped, looked up. "You're late." He blinked. "I don't report to you." "No," I said, cool and even. "But you act like you do." His jaw tightened. I watched him, watched the way he shifted his weight, restless, strung out. His hands flexed at his sides, like he didn't know what to do with them. "We need to talk," he said. I leaned back in my chair. "About?" His eyes flashed. "You know what about?" I raised an eyebrow. "Oh, that!" I smiled. Small, cruel. "Didn't realize it meant something to you." He didn't speak. He just stared. Jaw tense, fists clenched. And for the first time since we started this war, he looked shaken. Not cocky, not smug. Just cracked. "I didn't start the rumor," he said quietly. I tilted my head, "But you didn't stop it either." He stepped forward. "Lucas." "Don't." I held up my hand. "You wanted everyone to believe it. So, now you get to live with it." His throat worked. "You're acting like I used you." "You did." I stood up, closed the space between us. "But it's fine. I used you right back." For a second, I thought he might say something else. That same look, like he was on the verge of confession. But then, nothing. He just stared at me like he didn't recognize me anymore. Then he left. No smug smile, no parting shot. Just silence. I hadn't ruined him with sex. I had ruined him by walking away. A few days later, honestly, I never expected Dan to back off, but I didn't expect him to come this strong either. I started with a note. Just a plain, yellow sticky, dead center on my keyboard when I walked into my office Monday morning. Just 5 words written in the same annoying, neat handwriting I knew too well. I stared at it for too long. Not because I didn't want to know who it was from, because I did. I checked my office lock. The door was secure. Like always, I checked the hall cameras. No one had seen him go in. No one ever does. Adam Grant is good at slipping in when you're not looking. I crushed the note in my fist and tossed it in the trash. But I didn't throw it away. Not really. I finished it out 5 minutes later, flattened it, and shoved it back into my desk drawer, buried under tax forms and old onboarding docs. Out of sight, out of mind. All day I could feel him watching me through the glass wall. I refused to look back, but at 5:32 p.m., just as I was shutting down my screen, I got an email. No subject, no body. Just an attachment. A JPEG. I opened it. It was the note scanned perfectly, like a reminder, like a threat, or maybe a promise. 2 days later, Wednesday night, late. The pitch review ran long, and the rest of the office cleared out fast. Except him, of course. We ended up waiting on the same elevator. He didn't say anything at first, just walked in after me like it was fate, pressed the button for the lobby, and leaned against the mirrored wall like he didn't know exactly what he was doing. We didn't look at each other, not until we were halfway down, and he moved. He stepped in behind me, close. His voice brushed the back of my neck. "You look good tonight." I said nothing. "You always do when you're mad." He added, lower now. "It suits you." I could feel the heat of him, his breath, the pulse of his presence. Like a magnet under my skin, he reached for my hand, not to hold it, just slid his finger against my wrist. Slow, deliberate, like he was checking my pulse. His thumb circled once, soft. My mouth went dry. I yanked my hand back like he'd burned me. He let it go. Didn't apologize, didn't smirk. just waited, then said, voice quiet, "Still pretending you don't want more." The elevator dinged before I could reply. I walked out first, but his words followed me all the way to the car, all the way home, all night. I didn't sleep. A few days later, it wasn't obvious at first. That's the thing about Adam. He plays dirty, but smart. He started with meetings, ones I was supposed to lead, suddenly co-led, then overshadowed. I'd walk in with my points typed out, ready to present, and find out he's already passed out a new proposal, one that suspiciously preempted mine. The team started going to him for his approvals, for input, not me. The final straw was the Holloway account. I'd spent 4 months cultivating that lead. Phone calls, dinners, strategies. They were supposed to be mine, until I opened the Q3 assignment board and saw account owner Adam Grant. No warning, no memo, just gone. I didn't yell. I didn't throw things. I waited until I saw him in the hallway alone. I caught him just outside the break room and blocked the door with my shoulder. He barely flinched. "You're in my way," I said. He took a sip of his coffee. "I'm exactly where I need to be." "You took Holloway. I earned Holloway." His voice stayed maddeningly calm. "You were busy pretending none of this ever happened." I stepped closer, close enough to see the green in his eyes flicker. "You think this is a game?" He tilted his head. "No, Lucas. You made it one. I'm just playing better." I grit my teeth. "Don't push me, Adam." He didn't move, just leaned in. So close I could smell the warmth of his cologne. Clean, expensive, sharp. "I'm not pushing," he said softly. "I'm pulling." And then his fingers brushed my side. Just a breath of contact, but enough. Too much. I stepped back before I did something stupid. Again. Later that night, I lay in my bed staring at my ceiling, jaw tight, heart pounding, still hearing his voice, still remembering the heat of his hand, still not sure who was winning. About a week later, it starts with a misdelivered email. I'm not proud of it. I open it by reflex. Late night. My name in the CC file. A blur of words on the screen. It was a summary of the CEO's assignment, confirming a strategic image discussion with the board's bullet points. Cold, polished language. Executive overexposure. Credibility risk associated with internal conduct rumors. Recommendation. Redirect high conflict staff to external partners. And then, LC notice priority for gradual reassignment due to volatility and unremarkable brand alignment. LC. My initials. I reread the lines 4 times. My throat dried. Unremarkable brand alignment? I knew what that meant. Too loud, too sharp, too gay. I was their problem. And the rumor, their solution. I slammed my laptop shut so I could hear it echoed. And then I left. He was still at the office. Of course he was. Adam stayed late these days, working later than he needed to, like he was waiting for something. I didn't knock, just walked into his office like I owned the place. He looked up from his screen, startled. "Lucas? You think this is funny?" My voice cracked before I could steady it. "You think this is some twisted long game?" He stood. "What are you talking about? You wanted to ruin me, so you let the whole building believe you screwed me like I was some corporate victory lap." His face went pale. "That's not..." "Don't lie to me now." I stepped forward, chest tight, heat in my jaw, fists clenched. You wanted me humiliated, off balance. You wanted my job, my clients, hell, maybe my freaking office. So you opened your mouth and let the whole firm do the rest. He looked at me like I hit him. Just froze. Then he spoke low and shaken. "I didn't start the rumor, Lucas." Sure you didn't. I didn't! He snapped. I heard it from Amanda from HR, same as you. I scoffed. She told me because she thought it was true. Everyone thought it was true. She said... He stopped himself. I stepped in closer. She said what? He hesitated. Adam? She said that the board was watching you. That the rumor wasn't hurting you by accident. That's it. God, useful. Everything in me went still. What do you mean by useful? He exhaled slowly. They think you're too aggressive. Too difficult to brand. She said the rumor makes you look soft. Vulnerable. Less threatening. I laughed, a bitter, quiet sound. So I'm gay and ambitious, and that makes me dangerous. But if people think I screw in the office, I'm harmless? Adam didn't answer. I turned my back. I needed to breathe. I needed not to throw something through the glass. I thought you knew, he said finally. I looked over my shoulder. Knew what? He swallowed. That it wasn't me. That I'd never humiliate you like that? You let me think it was you. He flinched. I thought you wanted it. I stared at him. I didn't fight you off, Lucas. That night, I didn't stop you. No, you didn't. I didn't because I wanted it. I've waited for it for so long. I thought when you came to me like that, it meant you wanted it too. Even if you were angry. I stared at him for a long time. And for the first time since this whole thing began, I saw it. Not smugness, not the games, just him. Vulnerable. Shaking. Ashamed. I should have left, but I didn't. I sat down in the chair across from his desk. Silent, rattled, and wrecked. Both of us played. Both of us bleeding. A few days later, they suspended me on a Tuesday. No meeting, no raised voices. Just a polite HR email, 9:07 a.m., asking me to step into a brief discussion. Inside the room, the two men in suits, a third in the corner, silently recording notes. They handed me a letter like it was a memo, like it didn't matter. Administrative leave, pending investigation, no further comment. I read it twice, then folded it, nodded, and left. I didn't ask questions, because I already knew the answer. They never cared about the truth. They cared about the stain, the optics, and I'd given them exactly what they wanted. A scandal. I used sex to shut Adam up, to prove a point, to take control back. But the board didn't see power. Proof that I was volatile, unprofessional, and a little too ambitious and way too gay. So they nudged that rumor out, let it spread like wildfire. I lit the match myself. 3 days later, the office was still running, but it wasn't moving. The moment I left, I became a story. The guy who cracked. The guy who slept his way into exile. And Adam, I thought maybe he'd gloat, or take my office, or chase the promotion that should have been mine. But he didn't. He just faded. He stopped leading projects, stopped fighting in meetings, stopped showing up early, staying late, and when I asked around, carefully, through contacts who still owed me respect, I heard he pulled away from the Holloway account, the one he stole from me. Like he didn't want it anymore. Not if there wasn't anything to fight. Not if I wasn't there to fight him for it. Not if I wasn't there to look at him. As if he's the center of my orbit in the entire office. I thought of that first night. My hand in his hair. My mouth on his throat. His hands trembling against me. Like he was trying to hold on. I thought I'd won. That I'd flipped the script. But now I wondered if he was the only one who'd been real. The confession he made. That he didn't start the rumor. That he heard it through someone else. and still let it happen because he wanted it to happen. Thought foolishly, I wanted him just like he wanted me for so long. It hadn't left me. I hadn't said anything when he said it. Hadn't let it sink in. Because if it was true, if he was telling the truth, then I used someone who only ever wanted me. And that made me sick. I didn't want to believe it. Couldn't. Because I felt the same way. I always had. Beneath the hatred. Beneath the banter. Every time I stared at his mouth too long in meetings. Every time I picked fights just to get his attention. But I hadn't let myself admit it. I wrapped it in power plays and strategy. Called it revenge. And now? Now he's hurt. And I was guilty. And it ached like a goddamn hole in my chest. He wasn't the villain. I was. A few days later, I didn't sit around licking my wounds. I worked. I went through every email, every meeting invite I never got, every vague strategy realignment note from upper management that conveniently left me off the project. It was all there, buried in bureaucracy and soft language, reputation management, team cohesion, brand sensitivity. I found the board memo. The one where they discussed my image conflict and alignment concerns. No one said it outright, but I didn't need them to. Too sharp, too smart, too openly queer. A risk. And the rumor? A calculated leak to push me over the edge. I filed my report, whistleblower clause. Quiet, careful. Then I launched an internal audit, but I needed one thing I couldn't fake. Corroboration. Amanda from HR told Adam about the board's plans. He was the link, the only person who could back up what I knew, the names without sounding like a grudge. The only person who could back up what I knew, the names without sounding like a grudge. But I hadn't spoken to him since the last time I tore him apart. I didn't deserve his help. I wasn't even sure I deserved to ask. A few days later, I waited for him outside the building. No armor, no tie, just wind-chapped skin, 2 coffees, and a tightness in my chest that wouldn't let me breathe. He stepped out at 7:52 p.m., same time as always. Stopped dead when he saw me. "Lucas," he said just my name, nothing else. "I know I don't deserve it," I said. "Then why are you here?" I held out the coffee. He didn't take it. I nodded, switched to my other hand. "I read the memo," I said. "The one that the board wrote. I know what they did. They used me to make an example." His jaw twitched, but he didn't speak. "And I blamed you." I said softer. "I used you to take the power back. Or I thought I did." He was still staring at me. Quiet. Hurt. That hurt was worse than any slap. I used sex like a weapon. I admitted. And you let me. Because you thought I wanted you. Because you already care. "Loved you," he said. It came out so fast I flinched. My chest burned. "And I treated you like a pawn." "Yeah," he said. "You did." I stepped closer, voice low, throat raw. "I'm sorry, Adam. I don't think I ever said that. Not when it mattered." He looked away. "I don't want to win without you," I said. "Not anymore. And I don't want you to forgive me out of pity." "What do you want?" he said, tired. "I want to fix it. Not just my names. Us." I swallowed. "I need your help. But more than that, I need you." He looked at his coffee again. Then he finally took it. "On one condition," he said, voice hoarse. "Anything." "When this is over, when we win, don't walk away again." I nodded, eyes burning. "I won't." About 2 weeks later, Adam didn't say yes right away. He took the file I gave him, everything I had on the board, the emails, the HR leaks, the timelines, and said, "Give me 48 hours." I thought that he meant maybe that he'd need time to forgive me. But when I showed up at the office 2 days later, he was already in the war room. Shirt sleeves rolled, tie off, hair a mess, and a printed copy of the board memo highlighted in 6 colors. "This line here," he said, not even looking up, "directly contradicts what they reported to legal. We can use that." He didn't look at me like I was a threat anymore, or a mistake. He looked at me like I was something worth fighting beside. I didn't say thank you. Not yet, because we weren't done burning. The meeting came a week later. Private, sealed conference room. 2 board members, the CEO, legal counsel. Me and Adam. No press, no leaks, just 5 cold faces who thought they'd buried me. I let Adam speak first. He laid out the chain of events. The basis, the rumor, the intentional communication confirming it was allowed to circulate for strategic value. And then he dropped the HR transcript, Amanda's words, word for word. How she said she was told by upper management to let the gossip play out. How they called me difficult to market. How they tried to soften my edge with sexual humiliation. I could feel the tension shift. The CEO cleared his throat, said something about context. I leaned forward. "You used my identity like a flaw," I said, quiet, controlled, deadly. "You made me the scapegoat for your fragile brand. And you underestimated me." Then I smiled. "Now, I own you." It took exactly 4 days for the CEO to step down, resign for personal reasons. Of course, the board reshuffled. 1 was pushed out, 2 reassigned to silent oversight. And me? I was made an executive partner by the end of the month. Youngest in the firm's history. No apology, no statement. Just a nameplate in the corner of my office, and a promotion email with the subject of line. "Welcome to the top, Mr. Ellis." They thought it would be enough. It wasn't. For a while, the office didn't know what to do with us. The whispers turned sharp after the investigation. People who'd wanted to see me fall, now speculating if I'd get even. But, as the story spread, how the board tried to take me down, how Adam burned every bridge to help bring them down, it started to change. They saw the memos, the resignation. They saw us fighting. And then, still here. The ones who smirked or whispered started acting different. Amanda from HR left a post-it on my desk. "Congrats, boss." Darius winked at me in the hallway and bumped shoulders with Adam. Maybe office gossip never really dies, but it mutates. Now, when people look at us, the glances had changed. Respect, curiosity, even a little warmth. Everyone loves a scandal, until you survive it. And when we stood together, it wasn't a punchline anymore. We were both proof. Proof that you can burn and not break. And maybe that makes them want to believe in it too. 3 weeks later, Adam requests a transfer to my office, to my department. When HR forwarded me the request, I stared at it for 10 full minutes. Not because I was surprised, but because he didn't ask me first. He just chose me, the way I never let him choose before. I waited for him outside the elevator that evening. "Trying to work under me now?" I asked, smirking. His smile was soft. I figured I'd finally try being where I want. I stared at him. No suit, no power games. Just Adam. Raw, steady, mine. I stepped closer, hands in my pockets. "You know I'm a nightmare to work with, right?" He leaned in, brushed my wrist with his fingers. "Yeah, but I'm worse when I'm not around you." I kissed him right there in the hallway. Slow, sure, in front of no one. Just us. Because now, whispers didn't scare me. I had what I came for. And who I came back for. A few months later, it's 5:01 p.m. which means half of the floors have stopped pretending to work. I see it in the reflection of the glass walls, the way heads subtly tilt, emails pause mid-sentence, eyes trek across the bullpen. They're not waiting for me. They're waiting for him. Adam's office lights is still on. Of course it is. He's probably rewriting a deck I had already approved out of principle and pure spite. I adjust the cuffs on my shirt, check the time, and lean back on the edge of the reception desk. Waiting for someone, Mr. Ellis? That's Leah, the intern, grinning like I don't know the whole office runs a betting pool on whether Adam kisses me in the hallway or the elevator. I don't answer, because just then, his door opens. Adam steps out, files in hand, tie loose, hair messier than it should be. He sees me, stops, and smiles. That slow, lopsided thing he does, like he knows everyone's watching, like he likes it. He crosses the space between us, slips a coffee cup into my hand, my exact order, even though I had changed it, though I changed it every other week, just to mess with him. Too much sugar, he says. Just how you pretended you don't like it. I arch a brow. You're still adding extra just to ruin me. He leans in, voice low. You ruined yourself. I just stayed to enjoy the show. I roll my eyes, but my lips twitch. He falls into a step beside me as he walks towards the elevator. No touching. We never do. Out there. We never do out here. Not really. But everyone's watching. Not because they're waiting for a scandal. Because they're waiting for us. The lovers who broke. Who bled. Who burned everything down. And still came back for each other. That's not gossip. That's gravity. The elevator door slid open. I step in first. Adam follows, hits the lobby button, then glances sideways at me. His voice low and smug. They're staring again. I sip my coffee. I know. He smirks. I let him in, and as the doors close, I feel his fingers brush mine. Soft, quick, hidden, but real. The end. Would you forgive someone who used you to survive? Thank you for watching. Subscribe to become a part of our Rainbow Force. And consider joining our membership for early access and exclusive content. Stay wholesome.